It is dawn already, and Lawrence is the first to open his eyes. He steps out of the carriage and stretches his body. Just as he is doing this, Hollow also wakes up and gives out a loud yawn while stretching her body. Hollow claps her hands together, causing Lawrence to ask her why she did this. She lets him know that she is trying to get rid of a fly. Lawrence sort of understands why flies will want to come around Hollow, and this is because she has nice fur. This creates the perfect environment for the flies to live in, he says. Hollow is happy to hear Lawrence complimenting her, and she also talks about how impressive her tails and ears are. Hollow then starts to talk about the perks that come with her ears. She says she can hear things from afar, and this has saved the lives of her friends in the past. She takes a deep breath, and Lawrence uses this to tease her about her nose. To show Lawrence how capable her nose is, she tells him to make hasty. Lawrence asks why he should do this, and she lets him know that it will soon rain. Lawrence looks in the distance to see a cloud forming, and this is an indication that rain is coming. Soon afterward, the two make it to a church where they plan to spend the night. Lawrence is required to drop an offering of coins, and he does this. Hollow has her head covered with a hood, and the priest asks Lawrence who she is. Lawrence finds the perfect lie by telling the priest that Hollow is his wife, and she is covering her face because she has burns on her face. Once they are allowed to enter, Hollow is the first to go to the room. Lawrence later enters, and he is shocked to see Hollow bare. He turns his face to the wall and tries to be a gentleman by not looking at the girl as she changes. Hollow then teases Lawrence about the burns that he lied about, and after this, she mentions the good quality of the fur that Lawrence has in his possession. Lawrence asks her if they will fetch a good price, but she says she has no idea about this since she is not a fur merchant. Leaving that aside, Lawrence asks her what she wants him to do with the wheat, whether he is to thresh it or leave it as it is. He wants to know. Hollow then tells her that the wheat will not wither or die off as long as she is alive. Since that is her dwelling place, she can only disappear if the wheat is eaten, burned, or ground down and then mixed with the soil. However, threshing and storing it should be fine, she says. Upon hearing this, Lawrence makes the decision that he is going to shred the wheat later and store the grains in a bag. He asks her if she would like to keep it with her, and she affirms that this is a good suggestion. It would be nice for her if she could hang it around her neck, she says. Once this is settled, Lawrence will be able to sell some of it off to avoid wastage. As the conversation goes on, Lawrence finally loses himself in it, causing him to walk around the room and even look at the wolf while she is bare. Hollow then starts to tease him about his beard and the kind of men that she likes. Just then, it occurs to Lawrence that they will not be able to dry their clothes in the room. He suggests that they go to the common room instead because the place is heated. As they leave the room, Lawrence tells Hollow to be careful while they are in the common room because there will be several other people there. Hollow assures Lawrence that she will be fine because she is the wise Hollow. Upon getting to the common room, Lawrence gets acquainted with a couple. He explains to them how he does his business and everything that it entails. This impresses the couple, and Lawrence is told that he is free to come to their place in Parenzo. Apparently, the couple own a vineyard, and they have always had issues with merchants. Once this is settled, the couple leaves the room. Moments after the couple departs, a guy who has been sitting there raises a conversation. He commends Lawrence for a job well done. Apparently, the guy is also a merchant, and he has been trying to talk to the couple but failed. In other words, he is still a rookie at the job, and he is impressed by the way Lawrence handled the situation. The guy stands up and introduces himself as Jaren to Lawrence. He lets out a smile to show the missing tooth at the side of his mouth. Jaren then asks Lawrence if the lady sitting beside him is his companion, and he says yes. Jaren is impressed by this because he assumes that Lawrence must really treasure her wife to be traveling with her. He tries taking off the hoodie to get a better look at Hollow's face, but Hollow manages to defuse the situation by telling Jaren that there is beauty in mystery. He is taken aback by what he just heard, and he talks about how blessed he is that he ran into the two. He asks Lawrence if he is ready to listen to what he has to say, and he says yes. The scene then makes a jump to Lawrence arriving in the room while Hollow has been waiting for him. He shows up with a dish that looks very appealing to Hollow. Hollow wants to devour the food immediately, but Lawrence stops her, telling her that he has shredded the wheat. He has packaged some of the grains in a leather string so that Hollow can tie it around her neck. Hollow collects the bag, thanking Lawrence for it. She is about to pounce on the food when Lawrence stops her yet again. He lets her know that he spent a lot on shredding the wheat. He wants Hollow to be aware that she is going to pay him back, and Hollow agrees to this. Once this has been settled, Hollow carries the potatoes and starts to consume them happily. She devours the food in no time while Lawrence is still battling to finish a cut of the potato. Once she is done eating, Lawrence asks her if she knows when someone is lying or not. Holo then says yes and proves this to him by letting him know that she is aware of the fact that Lawrence was only praising her tale for praising Psyche and not that he really meant it. However, she lets Lawrence know that she is not always right and it is left for Lawrence to believe her or not. After he hears this, he asks her if she can tell if Zaren is lying about what he explained to them or not. The scene goes back a little to show us what Jaren told Lawrence and Holo while they were in the common room. Apparently, Jaren tells Lawrence that there is a new currency that is being circulated in town. There are rumors that these new silver coins will soon replace the old ones. The new silver coins still have the same worth as the old ones. In short, Jaren wants them to acquire a large amount of the new coins so that when the old coins get outdated, they will be able to make a huge profit from having the new ones in stock. Jaren proposes a deal to Lawrence. He will be the one to show him the differences in the coins, and when it is time to make a profit, Lawrence will cut him a share. Now in the present, Holo tells Lawrence that the kid was lying, but she cannot say the exact part where he did. Holo then asks him what he would do if she wasn't there. Lawrence reveals that he is going to put aside the lie and act like he is interested in Jaren's offer. This means that it can go either way. Lawrence can make a ton of money if Jaren is telling the truth, and if he is not, that means there is someone plotting something. He says he will then carefully investigate this to lead to the source, which he is sure is going to be a money-making scheme. After hearing this, it dawns on Holo that Lawrence would have still engaged in the business whether she debunked it as a lie or not. As a reward, she takes the rest of Lawrence's potato for herself. She then hits her with the fact that she has lived multiple lifetimes and she is wiser than him by far. The next morning, Lawrence wakes up to realize that Holo is not in the room. He stands up and makes his way to the well, and while watching his face, he sees Holo coming down from the stairs after talking to a priest. He asks her what she is doing with the priest, and she reveals that she woke up early to listen to the church's preaching. Holo talks about how the church has grown, letting Lawrence know that the church was not like this when she arrived from the north. This made her realize that the world has changed so much from back then. Lawrence then asks Holo if she has changed, and she says no. Lawrence assures her that her hometown will still be the same then. Holo feels some comfort in this, and she tells Lawrence that it is time for them to leave. Before they leave, they find Jaren, so Lawrence can inform him that he is interested in the business that he is proposing. However, he lets the guy know that he doesn't have the money to fund it at the moment. Jaren then suggests that they meet in the port town of Padzio to write out a formal contract. He tells him to stop at a bar named Yorand when he gets to the town, because this is where Lawrence will be able to contact him. It is time for them to leave, and Jaren offers to head on first. He starts leaving and Holo wonders why he is traveling on foot and not joining them on the carriage. Lawrence then explains to Holo that the road is muddy, which means it will be faster to walk than being in a carriage. Lawrence doesn't want to disturb the guy and just lets him take the route that he feels is best for him. Holo mentions the fact that merchants don't play with their time. Lawrence affirms this and backs it up with the saying that time is money. Holo considers this a very interesting phrase, and Lawrence tries to put out an example, using the farmers that Holo has been watching over. However, Holo says the farmers are not working with time, but they are working with seasons instead. She explains what she meant to Lawrence. She then bullies him by saying his mind is a quick one, but he still lacks experience. Basically, Holo is trying to let Lawrence know that he is going to be well established when he grows older and has a ton of experience. Lawrence then claps back by asking her how many hundred years he needs to live to be able to get the experience that Holo is talking about. Holo laughs at this and asks Lawrence why he thinks wolves attack humans. Lawrence says he doesn't know why, and Holo explains to him that they do this so that they can eat humans and gain their knowledge and power. Holo lets Lawrence know that he is no match for her and she sees him as a meat. Hearing this horrifies Lawrence, but he continues to listen to what Holo has to say. She then asks Lawrence if he has ever been attacked by wolves, to which he says yes. In fact, he has been attacked up to 8 times. A quick scene shows a pack of wolves chasing Lawrence and his comrades, and it seems he lost someone during this encounter. Holo is about to continue with her horrifying facts when Lawrence screams at her, telling her to stop. The two become silent, and moments later, Holo apologizes. As the journey continues, Holo asks Lawrence if he's angry and he says yes. He doesn't want Holo to joke about something like that ever again. Later on, Holo reveals why it is important for wolves to hunt. Lawrence is about to ask her if she has terminated someone before, but she stops him just before he could ask. Lawrence then apologizes for being too forward. With this, the two manage to settle their differences. As it gets dark, the two make a stop and decide to spend the night under a tree. As the scene fades away, Holo talks about how she and Lawrence have been living in completely different worlds.